Going on, guys? I got a midday update. This is the lineup from last night. I want to say about yesterday that I'm over it. I learned my mistake. First thing is, you got to learn how to accommodate to changing situations. I've always learned don't cry over spilt milk and don't complain about things that you just can't change. Teams are going to be resting players, and because of that, we just got to accommodate. We got to incorporate that into our strategy. And when we pick lineups, we got to be aware of that, okay? Another thing that I want to solidify is don't chase big point games and stick to. I want to stick to my system. Yesterday, I got away from my system. I paid 7K for a bench player that I faded his last game out because of the same reason. He's coming off the bench, and I don't think a bench player is worth that much hype when he's chalk. And then he went off of 50. Will Barton went off of 50. So that clouded my judgment. I chased it, paid 7K for a bench player. They increased his price, and then he went off for like 20 points. So it's just showing me that my system will save me. If I stick to my system, it will save me. When I start going outside of it, that's when I run into problems. So that's what I learned. And I'm gonna just share it with you guys to help you guys become better DFS players, okay? To get into this slate, not gonna waste too much time. I want to start. I'm going to clear this out just to kind of give my concept. So my concept is I need 6 times value for all my players. If you get 6 times value, you get about 300 points, either over or under. So what I do is with each player that I pick, I look for the capability of getting me 6 times value, the consistency for their price in the recent games that they have been hitting 6 times value, and I also consider the upside that not only 6 times but 7 or 8 times value. So when I pick it that way at the end of the night, if I stick to my system and stick to everything else, there's some other things I believe and don't believe in, like the rant I just went on about bench players. I don't like to roster bench players for more than the minimum if I see good value in them, okay? So I have other little things that I stick to, but that's my main concept. 6 times value consistently with good upside will get you near 300 on any given night. And now I'm starting to learn with this resting and all that to consider that. So teams that's at risk of being rested, I'm not going to consider picking them. Okay. So now I'm going to pull back my lineup from last night, and I'm going to speak about some changes that I made. The first change is based on my system. Paul George will need. This is closer to 9,000 and 8,000. It's about 50 points he would need. He put up 50 the other night, and he was in my lineup that night. I told everyone to play him. They played him. He got 57. We all won money. Tonight, you gotta be careful. For one reason, he's becoming chalk. Everyone likes him because they're chasing that 57 points. For two, he's on the road. For three, he's in a harder matchup. I know it says that it's a good matchup for him, but it's really not. Damari Carroll can play some defense, and I don't think he'll hit 40-point games consistently. He just had one. I don't think he's gonna do it back to back. 3 steals. I don't think that's going to be there. So it's a lot that happened to get him to 57. I think what he does need if he approaches 50 is double-digit rebounds. And between Ibaka and Valanciunas, I think they're going to crash the boards tonight. And he's not going to get the double-digit rebounds. So just to expect 50 from him tonight, to spend 9K on a player and can get you 30s, 30s a lot in the last 10 games. Paul George is someone I'm gonna stay away from tonight. Okay. Now the reason I played Josh Richardson is because I thought that he was gonna start for Dion Waiters, but they're saying now that Ellington is the new starter. So I'm gonna get rid of Josh Richardson. A new premium player that appealed to me today is DeMar DeRozan. The reason I like DeMar DeRozan a lot is because let's look at his history in his last 10 games, right? Against New York, that's a very good matchup for anyone, right? And then Washington, sometimes they can be a good matchup, but I like to say Washington between Otto Porter and even Bradley Beal, they play some good defense. He got to the line quite a bit, and that kind of helped his points in both of those games. But he did well. He did decent. Milwaukee, New Orleans. New Orleans is similar again in the middle of the park as far as defense. They can and cannot whenever they're in the mood. He got us 30s. Not great, but I didn't recommend playing him in any of these games because it's not a opportunity that I can see for him. Now the Atlanta game if you've been watching this since day one, my first video was this day when he put up 19 points. So I've been making videos since March 4th. And people who watch my videos have been successful. You can look in the comment section. They like me, right? This day he put up 19 points. And the first day I made a video, I lost because of DeRozan. Very embarrassing. The second day I couldn't even. I mean, some people were uplifting. They're like, "Yo, get over it. We're gonna get it today." And then we just started winning. We created a win streak, right? But this game, I shouldn't have played him because Milwaukee's not an ideal matchup. Middleton plays defense. It was in the green because Middleton's been out most of the season, and I got clouded by that, thinking that DeRozan it does it all for his team. We have to play DeRozan, and I was wrong that night for 8,700. Now he's $1,000 cheaper. In the midst of all that, 2 games later, I played him against Atlanta because I said in a video that Atlanta is a weak defense that he can exploit, and being the number one option on his team in a weak defense, I like him. So that's what's going on tonight. He's playing Indiana. It's a weak defense for the guards, and he's the number one option for his team. So I love DeRozan tonight. I think we got to get DeRozan in. I don't pick DeRozan on a lot of nights. I don't like to pick DeRozan. But in a good matchup, when he's the number one option for his team, I have to put aside my personal bias for him and definitely got to get him in. I'm gonna move Ingram up into the small forward. I like Ingram. Like I said, no matter what happens in LA, Ingram is the constant. They're not. I don't see him getting rested. He's getting minutes in the 30s. He's one of the young guys that they want to really develop and give some game time experiences against Cleveland. It's going to be a good experience for him against a good elite team for them to train him and get him acclimated. He already dropped 35 points. I think he gets back around the 30s. As far as my system, if you take the 19 out, he's been in the mid to upper 30s, and that's 5 to 6 times value. That's what we want from him. I'm not going to hold one game against him. I think he's a constant, and I'm going to hold on to Ingram. So I'm going to put Ingram in the small forward. Now, the forward spot, I'm kind of waiting on San Antonio news. If it doesn't drop before lock, I'm just going to go ahead and go with Gorgie Jang. I think they're going to need his size with the Twin Towers and DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis. He doesn't really fit my system that of being consistently in the 30s, but he got some 40 size upside. He got 30s a couple games, and then he can really bust you into the teens. The Miami game, though, he went 0 for 7. I don't see a basketball player going 0 for 7 on back to back games. Not when they've been 50 and 40% so much. So he just had a bad game. And I think people are going to be off of him because of that reason, right? But in Miami is tough down low. New Orleans can be tough too, but I think that's really gonna affect Karl Anthony Towns. And I think this guy, the reason I like him tonight, I see him getting double digit rebounds. And if he can just squeeze in 10 points and get a double double, he'll easily get 6 times value. So for now I'm gonna go with him. But my preference is David Lee. I am itching to play David Lee. In 19 minutes, David Lee put up 5 times value. If he's gonna get 30 minutes tonight, I think he'll crush. So I really want to put David Lee there, but I won't do it until they say that Aldridge is out on a back-to-back. I'm thinking and hoping that they rest him. So far, it looks like Ginobili is the only one that's going to be rested. So if that's the case, I might just leave $700. I did that 2 days ago. I left about $600 on the table, and we still won. So I might leave 700 on the table. Stick to this lineup. This is my new lineup. Play it with confidence, guys. I like it a lot. I'm gonna see you guys at lock at about 5:15.